Okay, my friends, we shall get this party started in just a moment. And now, okay, this is quite fascinating here. Okay, and so as we start this off here, you are watching Political Point Magazine, where the right is right and the left is always on the wrong side of history. Why? Because political minds want to know. So tonight, we have a special edition Political Point Magazine. We're going to talk about the left always misleading America and rewriting history. Yes, that's right, my friends. With me, your political host, William Mitro. Yes. And so, my friends, let's get on with the show tonight. All right. Yes. All right. Tonight, my friends, welcome to another edition of Political Point Magazine. Okay, and now, this is a special edition Political Point Magazine where we talk about the political goings-ons in a different matter. Okay, but tonight, since it is Memorial Day, we have a special edition for you. All right, and now, okay, we are we are now on this. Okay, but tonight we talk about the left always misleading America and rewriting history. All right. So, now, my friends, tonight we're going to start with, okay, on the topic here of that, the left misleading America. We're going to start with our favorite contender here, which is President Barack Obama himself. Okay, now, when President Barack Obama ran in 2008, he said he was going to be a uniter. He said he was going to change America, not necessarily for the better, but he said so much stuff. He promised so much, and this, my friends, we have now, and we now know that on Obamacare, Obama has lied and misled the country on whether or not you can keep your doctor or your health plan, and he has jumbled up the numbers, and as such, and also on everything that pops up, Syria. Okay, he has misled the country on that as well. Okay, now, we are on the verge of finding out lots of stuff coming from this administration, and President Obama appears to be one of the lucky people. Now, this guy who never had any real political experience to be president, mind you, okay, before he got into politics, he was a community organizer, right? And his social liberal views are more tied along the lines of a Marxist, and he made friends with several left-wing extremist people, okay, such as the unrepentant terrorist Bill Ayers, who started his campaign for president in his house. Okay. actually for the Senate in his house. Okay, and this brought him to another radical left-wing extremist who misled the nation, is Reverend Jeremiah Wright. Okay, now, okay, but perhaps the other thing, perhaps the other thing that is quite troubling about Barack Obama is every scandal that comes up, the IRS, the Fast and Furious, the NSA, in every scandal, okay, in every scandal that pops up, okay, we have President Obama denying.
And he really.
Okay, we have President Obama denying what is really on the verge of lots of deception. Okay, deception, mind you. Okay, so we have the reporter scandal too. Okay, with the Justice Department. Okay, and in all these scandals, okay, Barack Obama is the guy that that has a history of saying that he didn't find out about it until he saw it in news reports. Okay, so indicating that he's not really on the ball in this, and nobody's held accountable. Okay, in any of this, such as the most recent scandal with the VA scandal. All right, is Barack Obama. Okay, now there's long lines for the VA. All right, and the VA head secretary of the VA, okay, cabinet member Shinseki, is not held accountable. Okay, he should resign. All right, and so we've known about the problems with the VA for years. Okay, ever since 2005. All right, and now, and it wasn't fixed under George W. Bush, and Barack Obama made a vow to fix it, but he hasn't fixed it yet. And now we see that the IRS, now we see that Barack Obama just doesn't get it. Okay, he's not the guy that people thought he was. Now, let's talk about how he misled America so much. All right, now and another thing, everything that goes wrong in America today, he tries to point the fingers at his opposition, okay, or the previous administration, okay. Now, and this is another thing that the left lies about, okay. This is another thing that the left lies about, okay. They lied about President Bush's record, all right, and this really gets me, all right. They lied about President Bush, all right. Now, President Bush, mind you, okay, was a good man. Okay, he was the one of the best presidents we ever had, and yet the left tend to smear the Bush administration because they think they have this delusional idea that President Bush, all right, and President Bush lied to us about everything. And like they go around, the left goes around the country trying to paint this picture of George W. Bush. Okay. Yes. Okay. But you see, they now have this idea that if they keep on saying this lie about George W. Bush, okay, that's about Iraq and 9/11 and everything else under George W. Bush, all right, they tend to think that if you keep on saying that people will believe it, but nowadays we see that the even the left doesn't even believe Obama's lies. All right, but for example now, okay, now we have it on President Bush now. Okay, now President Bush was the most open and honest president, I believe. Okay, alongside of Abraham Lincoln. All right, and this is why we have. This is why we have a misconception that's generated by the left. Okay, that the left wants us to believe that people of this nature of that belong to the right are generally bad people. Okay, like take for example the way the left treats the Koch brothers. All right, now this, my friends, is quite interesting. We have Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid bringing up the Koch brothers as if there's some evil force in America that doesn't support the American people. Okay. Oh man. Now. Okay. Man. And now. Okay. You are witnessing that we have a situation here that now with President Bush. Okay, now take for example 9/11. We were attacked by terrorists. Okay, we were attacked by terrorists, right? Okay, and okay, we were attacked by terrorists on 9/11, 2001. George W. Bush defended us from any future terrorist attacks on U.S. soil. All right, okay, and that, my friends, is quite the reasoning. Okay, now George W. Bush. Okay, George W. Bush was the greatest in all of this. Okay, now. Okay, because he put forth the terror surveillance program, the Patriot Act, and the Department of Homeland Security, which all defended us and protected us. Okay. And now we were better off under George W. Bush. In fact, under with his provisions, we had more security and more protection under George W. Bush. Okay. And we were better protected under George W. Bush. Now, a lot of the liberals out there tend to lie and deceive Americans about what really happened prior to 9/11. Remember, we had that 9/11 commission, okay? And the liberals kept on attacking the Bush administration, saying that they didn't do enough, okay, to protect the towers from going down and whatnot, okay, and okay. And see, this is where people are misled. Okay. Now, I have here, okay, the events that happened prior to 9/11, okay, with all of this here, okay, and the events that happened prior to 9/11, okay. Now started with Clinton. Okay, actually. Okay, now this is where I prove the liberals wrong. All right, and this is okay. Now, I have here in a memo that Bill Clinton, okay, who was president in the 1990s, okay, and in the 1990s, Bill Clinton was president, and in the 1990s were the terror buildup years. Okay, now this is where things really get off to a shaky start here. All right, because because now. But now, listen to what now. But in this memo, okay, this is exactly what we have been talking about here. Okay, now, during the terrorist attacks, okay, of 9/11/2001, we know that that we were attacked by Al Qaeda, and and the left seems to blame Bush for that. But here's what really happened. They don't see that we okay, but now, but they don't see what really happened. They don't see what really happened, and the events prior to 9/11. For example, when Bill Clinton was president, okay, these people, Bill Clinton was the worst person to fight the terrorist. He came this close to getting Bin Laden. All right, okay. He came this close to getting Bin Laden, and in fact, he admitted in a speech, okay, in a speech in 2002, he actually admitted that it was his fault that he didn't indict, or he didn't get Bin Laden, because he claimed that at the time, February, in a February 2002 speech, okay, Clinton explained that he turned down an offer from Sudan for Bin Laden's extradition, okay, to the U.S., saying at the time, 1996, he had committed no crime against America. So I did not bring him here. So because we had no basis on which to hold him. Okay, but that wasn't exactly the case, my friends. Okay, that wasn't necessarily true. Okay, by 1996, the 9/11 mastermind, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, had already been named as an unindicted co-conspirator of the 1993 World Trade Center bombing by prosecutors in New York. Okay, now since the 9/11/2001 attacks, okay, some far left conspiracy groups have been spreading lies and about 9/11 to the American people, claiming that the 9/11 was an inside job without proof. These groups blame the Bush administration for that horrible attack. Okay, all of these 9/11 conspiracy theory groups, cronies, are all vexed about the day of 9/11, but they fail to even recognize the events that happened prior to 9/11, when Clinton was president, before Bush ever took office. All right. Now, we here on Political Points have a timeline, okay? And these are the facts, okay? 9/11 was a direct result of President Bill Clinton's failure to catch bin Laden and stop Al-Qaeda and stop his Al-Qaeda network during his watch, okay? Al-Qaeda began towards the beginning of Bill Clinton's presidency. When Clinton was president, the 1990s were the terror build-up years. All right, we bring you the Clinton bin Laden Al-Qaeda timeline. All right, now in this, my friends, okay, this is what truly happened. Okay, this is what truly happened. Okay, now listen to this, okay? Late 80s, early 90s, Osama bin Laden flees Saudi Arabia to Afghanistan and then later to Sudan, where suspected terrorists and former mujahideen are seeking refuge, okay? December 29th, 1992, bombs go off in Yemen, where U.S. soldiers are staying. Intelligence officials claim that this is the first attack linked to bin Laden and his associates. Okay? February 6, 1993, the first World Trade Center bombing. 6 people are killed. Individuals connected to the attack are tried and convicted. All of the suspects are Iraqi terrorists affiliated with Al-Qaeda. Okay? The ringleader, Ramzi Youssef, who escapes, though. Ramzi Youssef is the nephew of Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, the mastermind of the 9/11 attacks. Okay? Now, okay, but Ramzi Youssef, okay, was the ringleader of that bombing, of the first World Trade Center bombing, and Ramzi Youssef, okay, and in this, the Clinton administration treated this attack as a law enforcement issue instead of a terrorist threat, and did not connect bin Laden to the crime. All right. As a result, Osama bin Laden ducked the public radar. Okay. In July of 1993, the blind sheikh Omar Abdul Rahman is arrested in New York City for plotting to blow up various metropolitan landmarks, including the Brooklyn Bridge. Okay. The blind sheikh is an acquaintance of Ayman al-Zawahiri, who later becomes who is the leader of Al-Jihad, and who later becomes Osama bin Laden's right-hand man. Okay? October 3rd and 4th, 1993, U.S. troops are killed in Somalia while trying to support a UN humanitarian mission. Al-Qaeda operatives are later linked to the Somalian warlord Mohammed Aidid. Okay? White House advisor Richard Clarke urges the CIA to track down any bin Laden involvement. Okay? But the agency quickly admits that it does not have anyone on the ground in Somalia to investigate. All right? Now, bin Laden claims victory from the quick withdrawal from Somalia and declares that the great enemy in the West can be defeated. All right? Now, April 1994, the Saudi government revokes Osama bin Laden's citizenship because of his support for radical Muslim fundamentalism. Okay. January 1995, a plot was discovered to blow up a dozen passenger jets simultaneously above the Pacific Ocean. Ramzi Youssef, once again, was the ringleader, but he gets financial support from his uncle, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. All right. February 1995, Ramzi Youssef is captured in Pakistan and taken to a U.S. and taken to the U.S. where investigators find information in a safe house linking him to bin Laden. Okay. Now, April 19th, 1995, 168 people, including 8 federal marshals, were killed in the bombing of the federal building in Oklahoma City. Timothy McVeigh and Terry Nichols were charged and convicted for their roles in the bombing, but later information revealed that McVeigh was trained by Al-Qaeda terrorists months prior to the bombing. All right. So, January 1996, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed is indicted but remains at large. And then he goes on to become the mastermind of the 9/11 attacks. Okay? Now, once again, May 1996, the government of Sudan tries to banish bin Laden by offering him to the U.S. in exchange for being taken off the State Department's terrorism watch list. Clinton refuses the offer, determining that the Al-Qaeda leader, Osama bin Laden, has not directly harmed any American citizens. Osama bin Laden quickly relocates his operation to Afghanistan. All right. Then, June 25th, 1996, the Khobar Towers in Saudi Arabia were bombed, killing 19 U.S. servicemen. U.S. and Saudi investigators suggest that Hezbollah-backed terrorists were behind the attacks. August 1996, Osama bin Laden declares an open jihad on the U.S. and then openly taunts then Secretary of Defense William Perry. Okay. June 1998, a grand jury issues a sealed indictment of bin Laden and alleges that bin Laden is the head of Al-Qaeda and that he is financing terrorists all around the world. Okay. August 7th, 1998, 2 bombs explode at the U.S. embassies of Kenya and Tanzania, killing 250 people, including 12 Americans. August 20th, 1998, Clinton responds by firing cruise missiles on Al-Qaeda training camps in Afghanistan and an aspirin factory in Sudan, which is mistaken for a chemical weapons lab. Al-Qaeda operatives survive, and 2 days after the attack, the leader of the Taliban calls the State Department, threatening that the failed attacks would only cause Muslim outrage, and demands Clinton's resignation. Okay. February 1999, U.S. officials had a chance to launch an airstrike on Osama bin Laden in Afghanistan, but White House terrorism chief Richard Clarke warns against it for fear of also killing members of the royal family of the United Arab Emirates. December 1999, the CIA learned of an Al-Qaeda meeting in Malaysia, but does not inform the FBI. After the meeting, some of the members fly to Bangkok, Thailand, where they meet the men who will attack the USS Cole. Then they fly to Los Angeles, California, and the CIA still does not inform the FBI. Or the State Department. Wow. This is just fascinating. Anyways, October 12th, 2000, the USS Cole is attacked in Yemen. 17 U.S. sailors are killed, and the American media quickly reports that Osama bin Laden is responsible for the attacks. Okay. Now, these are the events that led to the 9/11 attacks. Okay, but because of the failings of the Clinton administration, and because of the fact that under Clinton, the FBI and the CIA were not communicating with each other, there was no possible way that the Bush administration could have prevented the 9/11 attacks. Okay, President Clinton allowed Al-Qaeda to build up during his watch, and he allowed the terrorists to come into this country long before George W. Bush took office. Osama bin Laden and his Al-Qaeda network were plotting 9/11 during Clinton's presidency, and the Bush administration had nothing to do with it. Okay, in fact, George W. Bush was governor of Texas at the time. Clinton didn't do a darn thing to stop Al-Qaeda. As a result, we were left defenseless against Al-Qaeda, and when Bush became president, he was left to clean up the mess that Clinton left behind. Nobody was thinking of Osama bin Laden or Al Qaeda when Bush became president. Nobody even knew when or where or how the terrorists would attack next. Bush's first 8 months in office were spent trying to push his Republican conservative agenda, which was the right agenda for America, continued from the contract with America, cutting taxes, improving the economy, building up our defense cabinet, boosting education, and getting us out of the Clinton-Gore recession. All right? Clinton did nothing when we were attacked by Al-Qaeda. But when Al-Qaeda attacked us on 9/11/2001, Bush took the appropriate steps to use all the full resources of the federal government to protect us. And Bush took the right measures by installing the Patriot Act, the Terror Surveillance Program, and the Department of Homeland Security. And that is what happened, my friends. Okay? Just another example of the left trying to rewrite history. All right? But fortunately for everybody in America, I am here to correct the left. All right? And so, which brings me now to another topic of discussion here. All right? Now, Democrats always mislead America about which party is the party that supports the civil rights and whatnot. Okay. Well, if as I recall correctly, it was President Abraham Lincoln who freed the blacks from slavery. Okay. Abraham Lincoln was the founder of the Republican Party. Okay. And it was the Republican Party that did more for blacks and minorities than Democrats ever have. All right. Now, like I said before, it was Lincoln who freed the blacks from slavery. Okay. It was Ulysses S. Grant that installed the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment to the Constitution. And his administration did giving blacks and minorities equal rights and opportunity in this country. Okay. In fact, Reconstruction was allowed to continue on because of what the Republicans did for the blacks and minorities. Okay, it was Democrats during that time that fought so hard to keep slavery, and they hated Reconstruction, and after slavery was abolished, they fought so hard to keep segregation. Okay, and ultimately it was the Republicans that ended segregation. All right, it was President Nixon that ended segregation in our schools. All right, so you need to really figure out what is what. In fact, okay, so I am here to set the record straight. All right, this is what we have in store for you. All right, but I am here to set the record straight. Okay, the difference between the Democrats and the Republicans now is ultimately clear. Okay, and it's ultimately clear in today's history now. All right, and what the Democrats are trying to do, okay, with immigration, with every single policy, okay, immigration, our taxes, and and everything else, okay, they are trying to drive us to bankruptcy, okay, whereas the Republicans are trying to keep us from bankruptcy, okay. Mind you, we had a Republican president in George W. Bush that tried to save Social Security, but the Democrats shut it down, okay? And this also reminds me of what of what the Democrats are doing to mislead Americans once again. Okay? Now, we all remember the crash of 2008. Okay? Well, now, this brings me to the destruction of the Obama Justice Department, or I should say the Just Us Department. Okay? The head of that department, all right, is none other than Eric Holder. And this is why Eric Holder now is public enemy number one. Okay? And I will tell you why. Okay? Now, okay. Eric Holder is public enemy number one. And this is why. Okay. Okay, this is why. All right. Now listen to this. Okay, Eric Holder, public enemy number one. All right. Okay, right here. Okay. Now, providing additional evidence. Okay. Now, okay. All right. Now, providing. Now, Eric Holder is public enemy number one. Currently, the Attorney General of the United States. All right, and this is what we, and currently the Attorney General of the United States, and in every scandal, he is refusing to hand over documents and whatnot, and everything else. Okay, but here's another thing that appears shocking. Okay. Now, this and a new revelation that the AG Eric Holder is protecting J.P. Morgan Chase. Okay, remember when Obama ran for president and he claimed that Wall Street greed and corruption and criminal activity crashed the economy, and he claimed that they were going to take action against that, okay, and actually prosecute and go after Wall Street, okay. Well, now this in a memo from Mark Carlin, editor of BuzzFlash at truthout.org, okay. Now, providing additional evidence that the Obama administration's Department of Justice, or Just Us, is protecting banks too big to fail. Pulitzer Prize winner, Pulitzer Prize winning financial reporter David K. Johnston has revealed that the DOJ has refused to force J.P. Morgan Chase to comply with an ongoing investigation into the bank's possible knowledge of Bernie Madoff's fraud scheme a few years ago. Okay. The information obtained might reveal that the bank chose to financially benefit from criminal activity. Bernie Madoff's principal bank, J.P. Morgan Chase, has for years obstructed federal bank examiners trying to ascertain what it knew about his gigantic Ponzi scheme. An official document obtained by Newsweek shows. The Justice Department refused in September to back up Treasury Inspector General staff who wanted a court order to enforce a subpoena, in effect shielding J.P. Morgan from law enforcement. The October 8th document shows. The Justice Department told the Treasury Inspector General that they were denying the request for enforcement of the subpoena, which means officials could not undertake further action regarding this matter, wrote Jason J. Mitrick of the Inspector General Special Agent in charge. Okay, Johnston disclosed the latest damning indication of the Department of Justice shielding Wall Street banks that dominate U.S. finances in a Newsweek article. The DOJ pattern of not exploring potential big bank criminal activity was admitted to by Attorney General Eric Holder, as BuzzFlash at Truthout reported at the time, as recalled by Johnston. All right. Now, okay, so this, my friends, is quite evident. Okay. Now, as recalled by Johnston. Now, if you read a little more here, okay, Holder is as much at fault as the bankers. Okay. Now, time for now. Okay, but here we go. It's like last March, Attorney General Eric Holder told the Senate hearing that he was afraid to prosecute too big to fail banks, as it could do even more economic damage, in effect declaring them too big to prosecute. Although Madoff has been serving an effective life sentence in prison since 2009, a special Treasury Department Inspector General with independent powers is still trying to ascertain if J.P. Morgan Chase turned a blind eye to Madoff's mega Ponzi scheme that left many individuals and organizations, including charities, with enormous losses. The bottom line of the Obama Department of Justice, or Department of Just Us, I should say, position is that Americans are left vulnerable to criminal bank activity on a massive scale because if they were held accountable, Holder believes the U.S. economic system would be hurt. This is ludicrous, but because we know that, but from the 2007-2008 crash, which showed what such uninvestigated and unprosecuted behavior leads to. Okay? In short, the chief law enforcement officer of the United States is authorizing our large banks to engage in criminal behavior because he claims preventing them from doing so might negatively impact our economy. But he doesn't realize that prima facie has been proven on again and again that the likely criminal bank activity undermines our financial system. Okay, so this is so nonsensical, such a defilement of justice and economic integrity, that there must be another answer to Holder's protection of suspected and as indicated in civil and other suits, criminal actions on Wall Street. The financial masters of the universe call the shots in D.C. for some reason. Holder and his law firm, Bass, Covington, and Burling, represent many of them, and Congress and the White House is beholden to them for campaign cash and revolving door jobs. Okay, so this is why we need to hold Eric Holder accountable, because he has not done the American people their due justice, right? He is not going after the Wall Street banks that are supposedly too big to fail. Okay, he has crippled the Justice Department. He went after reporters instead of going after the real criminals. Okay, and they don't know they don't talk straight when they didn't talk straight when it came to the Fast and Furious, which killed one of our Border Patrol agents. Okay, they didn't talk straight to us when it came to Benghazi. Okay, and they didn't talk straight to us when it came to the IRS and everything else. And now they're not talking straight with us about the VA. All right. So all of this is nonsense, my friends. All of this is nonsense. We need to rise up and wise up. Okay? Because the left in this country is not looking out for you. All right? Eric Holder needs to resign, needs to step down. In fact, we need an entire new administration. All right? So come this fall, 2014, we will change the Congress. Republicans will take control of Congress. Okay, they've already had their primaries, and a majority of Republicans have won their primaries, and now they're going on to the general election against their Democrat opponents, which the Democrats now are faltering as the right party becomes the true and the truth about what's going on, all right, in all of this. Okay, but now with that in mind, my friends, okay, I take you to the immortal words of a true historian, okay, in politics here, all right, but okay, I take you to a true historian here, all right, okay, and that is in Thomas Paine, all right, okay, Thomas Paine, all right, in fact, okay, let's take you to that, a quote from Thomas Paine, okay, "It is the duty of every man, as far as his ability extends, to detect and expose delusion and error." Those are the immortal words of Thomas Paine, my friends, okay, as it were, okay. And with such knowledge, we are now approaching, in fact, we have approached critical mass with this administration. This is the least transparent administration in our history, okay? And we cannot afford to get this any worse, okay, my friends, because this has a dramatic impact on the American people, all right? And I think as we come into 2015 and 2016, okay, I think you will dramatically see that there are more and more of what we have, okay? But I just showed you dramatic examples of why Eric Holder is public enemy number one, and we need to get rid of this administration, all right? Republicans need to take back control of both houses of Congress and the White House, okay? And I foresee that coming, okay? Because the Democrats are just lousy at everything. Going back, far enough, we just can't afford to vote Democrat, okay? We need to vote Republican, okay? The Republicans are the ones that have the better policies, all right? And time again, history has been showing that, all right? And I mentioned George W. Bush earlier, okay, in this broadcast, but um, I I also mention that George W. Bush had for 7 out of 8 years the best economy, one of the best economies. Okay, for 7 out of 8 years, we had the lowest unemployment rate, we had the highest economic growth period in in uh, in history. All right, and things were on the up and up until the crash of 2008. Okay, of which the left also deceives us about that. Okay, and why that happened. Certainly, criminal bank activity caused the financial crash, but also the during also before that crash happened, we had the housing bubble that burst in 2008, and that was due to the subprime mortgage scandal, which was run by the Democrats in Congress. Okay, the Democrats ran that scandal. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and Countrywide Financial, and the top number two guy, I have said this before, the top number two guy involved in that scandal was Senator Barack Obama. He was getting kickbacks from Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and Countrywide Financial. And this is another thing that the left doesn't want you to know. They are intentionally misleading you about that. All right? They point the finger to the right and the Republicans and Wall Street and everything. You know, everything's their fault. Not everything's the fault of the right, not the left, to them. Okay, but they are misleading you in that because it was the Democrats that caused the economic crash. Okay, they fueled the fire. Okay, and that brings me to the last words of the night. Okay, coming up here. All right, the last words of the night. Okay. Okay. The last words of the night, my friends, is don't buy into the deception of the left. All right? As you see, the country is moving moving from left to right now because they are actually waking up and seeing that we have the power, okay, to get everything right. Okay? So, I encourage you, come November, vote Republican. That's the only way to solve this problem. Okay? We will not be deceived anymore by the left. Okay? So a vote for the Republicans in November and a vote for a Republican president in 2016 will ensure a message that we will have no more lies and deceptions from the left. All right? And that is our show once again, my friends. Okay? We thank you for watching Political Point. And this has been my presentation of how the left always misleading America and rewriting history. Yep. Okay, but that is the last words of the night, my friends. Okay, we thank you for watching Political Point magazine, where the right is right and the left is always on the wrong side of history. Okay, follow me on Twitter at WilliamMitro2, and I'd like to say I love you, Felicity and Susie and the girls. I love you. And also, okay, watch us on YouTube. All right. We thank you for watching Political Point, where the right is right and the left is always on the wrong side of history.